My first video in months. How should I open it to reestablish my friendly and optimistic personality? Oh, I've got it. Persona 3 is a really dated game. Now, I don't dislike Persona 3, in fact, I actually really like what I played. It's just when comparing it to 4 and 5, in my eyes, there's absolutely no contest. Not to mention that, admittedly, I have a lot of problems with the game overall that I still haven't even finished it. I hope my opinions are still valid, but that's the way it is. That shouldn't be the way it is, though. There are so many issues that could be ironed out, and ever since I played the game, I cannot stop thinking about how much Persona 3 needs a remake, and what that could do to make this title even better than it is now. So let me tell you how I'd handle this. First things first, I think I speak for everyone when I say that putting this game on the Persona 5 engine would be ideal, as that entry is the prettiest game in the series by a landslide. We don't want to take the little things that make up Persona 5's aesthetic, but using higher quality models instead of brushing up on the original game's graphics would help keep this in line with being a remake and not a remaster like Persona 4 Golden. The models from the dancing game looked great, so I'd want something in line with that game. Minus the dancing, of course. Don't put that in this game. Of course, keeping the original P3's aesthetic in line would be nice, and I don't want to say how to do that, just surprise me. However, what I would like to request is that we completely remaster the soundtrack. Not remix it entirely, but I don't want it to be the same. Maybe something along the lines of The World Ends With You Final Remix, as that game gave a reimagining of Swords to the OST, without sacrificing what made those songs good to begin with. Of course, giving players the option between the original and the new remastered soundtrack right from the get-go. Continuing on, let's also borrow the combat system from Persona 5. It's made for the best combat in this series thus far, after all. I think everyone would be okay with simply implementing Persona 3's combat in the Persona 5 engine, and yes, that would include controlling party members. Forgive me for not understanding why forcing players to rely on the AI is a good idea, because I don't think it is. At all. Time and time again, I've suffered deaths due to poor decisions my party members made, and I found myself being extremely cautious while playing because they're just unreliable. Persona 3 Portable allowed you to control them, and it was great, so let's keep that. If you don't want the option, simply change the tactics, as every game has given players the option to have computers control your other party members. This is why options are so important in gaming, kids! Of course, I would love to keep what makes the Persona 3 combat unique, and by that, I mean the fusion attacks. These were dope, and they should make a return. I'm not a fan of demoting them to items in Persona 3 Portable, so having them as powerful spells that take a huge chunk of SP for a risk-reward system would be great. I don't think they should bring the demon conversations to this remake, but instead will keep the regular shadows and have the same method of getting personas and other bonuses. The card game at the end of some battles, perhaps with the updated card game from Persona 4 Golden? Oh boy, the Tartarus. I know it isn't that bad, but good lord, is it flawed from front to back. Immediately, when you look at this dungeon, you notice the green and black ominous look. Hope you like it, because that's all you're gonna get for all 264 floors. Oh my gosh. This is, and I mean this, the ugliest dungeon in Persona history. I'm sorry, but this was cool for the first block, but it never changed, and I got sick of it. Even Mementos changed the color scheme the further you got in, which, you know, would be fine, but I want to go further than that. This goes hand in hand with another aspect I would like to change, but with a dungeon as long as this that spans the entirety of the game, old tartar sauce shouldn't be randomly generated floors in a potential remake. It also shouldn't look the freaking same. We're in a school, for crying out loud. Every floor should be intricately designed with puzzles to solve the further you go. They should also look different and use the fact that this is a Freaky Friday version of the main character's high school to their advantage. Let's put in more than hallways and a staircase to traverse through. Include classrooms, gymnasiums, cafeterias, lobbies, courtyards, so on and so forth. There's so much potential here with fun, unique environments, and it's a crime to have everything look so samey. And if that means that the Pop Tartarus will become less than 260 freaking 4 floors, that's perfectly fine by me. But safer, wouldn't that be changing too much? Maybe, but if people were so afraid of the game changing too much to begin with, hate to break it to you, that's what a remake is. Changing aspects of the original game and improving them. If you don't want to see this major aspect of the game changed, then don't play the remake, simple as that. But this is my vision, and as I see it, the Tartarus sucks and needs a massive makeover to make the game a heck of a lot more enjoyable. As a matter of fact, making the areas you go through diverse would make it feel no different than going through the various dungeons of Persona 5, to be honest. A couple of other things that have to do with dungeon crawling I would change begin with the inconveniences. So you know how finishing a dungeon, or in this game's case, a chunk of a dungeon in one day is a really big challenge? That's because you've got to get through fight after fight, level up your party to handle the mini bosses and actual boss at the end, all while managing your SP since items to refill them are incredibly scarce. Challenging yet doable with the proper level of skill. So why the heck do your party members get tired or sick? What the heck? Because it makes the characters feel more realistic, of course. Get out of here with that crap. Realism should have stopped being a factor when the main character shot himself in the head and a demon lord popped out of thin air as a result. Getting tired does absolutely nothing good for this game. And then a character can get sick and be even worse? No, these are dumb. Get rid of them. I don't care. All right. I'm getting kind of heated thinking about all my problems with Persona 3. Let me calm down. Let's also get rid of party members being able to get attacked while dungeon crawling, as I've gotten screwed over by that more times than I feel is reasonable. By that, I mean one too many. Again, does nothing but inconvenience the player. The same can be said about making dead party members literally lie on the ground, forcing the players to either revive them or leave them on the current floor. And by leave them, I mean have them drop out of your party. Literally, who would miss these? Also, can I please get more than 2 points of experience per battle when I have a full party? I know it's early game, but it's still a dumb. Actually, Persona 3 Portable fixed a bit of these issues, but some of their solutions weren't the best. Not the experience fix, that was great. Let's keep that. I actually feel like I'm growing stronger at a decent rate, and that's amazing. But you still can get tired and sick, just not while you're dungeon crawling. Instead, the next day your character will feel tired, and I still think that's stupid. Just get rid of the mechanic in its entirety, there's nothing good about it. Also, they added a healing station to the save point. You can pay a price in order to fully heal your HP and SP whenever you want, given you have enough money, but then the game just becomes way too easy. I abused the heck out of this gathering footage, and that made traversing up the school that much more of a breeze. Of course, you don't have to use this option, but it's a broken mechanic nonetheless, so it should be criticized and improved as such. Take this out and force players to manage their SP to the best of their ability like every other Persona game, and you've got a whole new layer of strategy and challenge without getting bogged down by your characters randomly deciding they don't want to play the game anymore.
I never felt like...
For these last bit of changes, I want to shift over to the game's social elements. Those are a bit rough too. Man, I probably should have done a Tales game or something to signify my grand return. This was a mistake. Immediately, we've got to make it so that it's possible to max out a social link of the opposite sex just being friends. I don't know why this was an issue to begin with, but Atlas, if you do this remake, make this the first thing you change. Please. In regards to the social links, Persona 3 handled them in an incredibly weird way. Basically, there were two different groups of social links, the male social links and the female social links. The male MC only has social links with the female party members. The rest are a bunch of side characters that you only know through the life simulation. And while many of these are interesting characters, limiting how much you know about your male party members to the main story rather than diving deeper into their characters through social links like every future entry is simply ridiculous. Social links and combat go hand in hand with this series. For example, you progress further in a social link with a party member and they get more options during battle. Persona 3 Fez had none of this, and making it so that you don't even make social links with a good portion of your party didn't help. However, if you play as the female in Persona 3 Portable, you now have social links with all your party members. So what happens to characters from the males group with social links? They're just gone, and honestly, I don't miss them at all. If we were to have this remake be the best it could possibly be, every party member needs a social link. That being said, there could be some differences between genders. For some examples, I'm cool with the male MC getting Kazushi as his sports social link and the female MC getting Rio. I'm also okay with which social links and when you get them being completely different for each gender. The female MC gets Yukari's social link way earlier than the male MC, and I think that makes a lot of replay value between genders. It also doesn't mean you're missing out on a social link per se, you're just getting them in a different order with different dialogue. Replay value without getting rid of necessary social links. Everyone wins. That just leads us to one final challenge. Now, I personally haven't played this because, like I said at the beginning of the video, due to the flaws of this game, I find myself having a very hard time finishing this entry. Obviously, I wouldn't play the answer, which takes place after the journey, aka the main story of the game. But I do know that there are tons of problems with this mode. I've tried researching what this is while avoiding spoilers, and I think I've got a good idea of what this is. Constant dungeon crawling with no life simulation, being that this is an epilogue of sorts, a forced hard mode difficulty, your stats not carrying over from the journey, and very little story compared to how much you'll be fighting. fighting. And that doesn't sound like fun at all. Maybe it'd be best to change this up a bit while keeping the concept intact. If the game were to allow you to carry over your stats and overpowered personas, having a balls-to-the-wall hard epilogue that gives an interesting insight to the characters after the ending of the journey would be a really cool and great reward for finishing the game. But in order to make it not seem so samey, change the answer from having the characters stuck in a day to taking place over the course of a couple of months. I think that would fix a lot of issues right there. There'd be more to do, Atlas could add more story, and it'd give the players more breathing room. More. Exactly what the answer needs from what I've gathered. I'll stop right there though. Again, I haven't played it. I just figured someone would ask, so there's the answer. Making this video was therapeutic, if anything. To put it bluntly, Persona 3 is a game with so many irredeemable flaws that later games iron out completely. It was, in a sense, a foundation for the rest of this franchise. That being said, the story is incredibly interesting, the characterization is some of the best in the franchise's entirety, the tone, aesthetic, world, soundtrack, so on and so forth, are all so great. They just need the other parts of the whole to be fixed, and you'd have one hell of a game. Persona 3 Portable was a step in the right direction, but they jumped the gun being that it's freaking ugly and introduces some issues of its own. If Persona 3 were to be remade now, it'd be on the same level as 5. And that, if anything, should be justification enough for this dream to become a reality, because Persona 3 deserves better. Your move, Atlas. Import Persona 4 Golden onto the Switch while you're at it. Hey, thank you so much for watching the whole video. It means a lot to me and really helps me out. If you enjoyed the video and would like to support the channel and myself, I ask that you become a patron of the channel for as little as $1 a month. It's really not that much, and it gives you 24-hour early access to videos, a special Discord role with access to a private channel on my server, creator notes, and more to come. That being said, thank you so much to all my patrons already. I love you guys, and I'm really appreciative of all of you, so I'm gonna thank you all right now. Thank you, Jacob Horner, Tex-Mex, Shadow the Cat, Neolab, Giovanni Chiesa, Michael Douglas, Kimpy7, Flaregrar, Corbett, and Gentleman Gamer. Thank you all so much. I love each and every one of you, and thank you all for watching. I love you guys too. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!
So get down, my lyrical depths to roll battle smack down now. Gotta shoot to kill, I shoot to skill. Don't you be afraid, man's gotta do how it feels. 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, 10. I flip the script to make it to the top 10.